All right, well, let's get started. Let me start by reading this never-ending COVID. So welcome everybody to the Monday, September 21st, 2020 regular meeting of the Easton Planning and Zoning Board. And in keeping with the ongoing emergency order from Governor Charlie Baker to limit gatherings and maximize social distancing, and under legislation passed to address remote board meetings during the emergency declaration, this meeting will be conducted remotely over Zoom. Attendance by board members will be remote, excuse me, and remote attendance shall count towards a quorum. The meeting is available on ECAD. To use Zoom, you can get the link and directions off of the agenda. While conducting the meeting remotely, we will endeavor to keep the meeting operations as close to our standard procedures as possible. However, use of the platform will necessitate some additional meeting protocols. While board members and applicants will be on video, public participation will join the webinar as attendee, meaning they will be muted and no video from them. During the public testimony portion of the meeting, members of the public can be recognized by using the raise your hand function under participants on Zoom, or make a request with the Q&A function. If you are joining by phone, you can press *9 to raise your hand. And the rest of the directions are listed on the agenda. So we'll start off to ensure we have a quorum with roll call. Strange here.
Anderson here.
Stetson here.
Balsaric here.
That's 4, minimum 3. We have a quorum. Okay, and if anybody's, we'll get to these in order, but just in case anybody's watching, the continued public hearings for Sawmill Village, Owl Ridge Estates on Mill Street, and the elementary school information are continued to our next meeting. So we'll formally take those when we get to them in the agenda, but just in case anybody's out there. So first up, we have an internally illuminated sign for 25 Belmont Street.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen for that, and I'm going to also, let's see, this is the screen we're sharing. Can you see this, the sign?
Yep.
Yes, I can.
Okay, and then let me, let's see.
I can also see you have a meeting with Jay Tellerman tomorrow morning.
No, I do not.
Oh, someone's
I don't
scheduled.
I don't think so. You
Some
can
old-
see,
Who
wow,
was it?
that's interesting. Okay, wait a minute. Now I lost my screen to promote. I'm gonna have to stop sharing from, oh, here we go, participants. And, okay, Bob, you
Sorry.
should be able to speak now. Bob Crisafulli.
How you doing, everybody?
Good evening.
So we're trying to get an illuminated sign. It's halo lit on a monument sign. It's actually smaller than the original sign that's out there. The original sign is 108 inches wide, and this sign is only 96, including the wall, just so you know.
Okay.
And it's located in the same location as the sign is existing.
Okay. We checked it. It complies with all the requirements, the dimensional requirements.
Sure. Matches the building. Good looking sign.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Board members, any questions or comments? No? Anybody in the general public waving their hand, or I don't see?
I do not see anyone with any
Anybody
questions
Care to
or,
make a motion?
Make a motion to approve the sign at 25 Belmont Street.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor, Strange, aye.
Anderson, I.
Stetson, I.
Balsaric, aye.
The vote is unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck.
Have a good day.
You too, thanks. Next up, we have a continued site plan review for Southeastern Regional Technical School Theater Edition, 250 Foundry Street, special permit number 20-194. Stephanie, the floor is yours.
Okay, at the last meeting, and I unmuted Brian LaRoche. Brian, you can let me know at the appropriate time if, who else on your side? I think we have Ty Johnson and I don't recall the individual's first name.
James Garino is the other one.
Okay. So let me just allow to talk, but I will just bring the board up to date. So the outstanding items after the last meeting were that they needed to provide or had provided, but it wasn't uploaded to Permitize, the photometric plan, which they have submitted. And they are proposing reusing or relocating existing light structures and just moving them. As the board members will recall, essentially the circulation into and around the building remains the same. It's just that everything is shifting closer to the road because the addition is going to extend northward towards the roadway. They needed to, one of the questions that came up, the plan shows that the setback, the front setback is 49.45 feet. And we talked about that. I talked with the zoning inspector. I also talked with town council, and they said that the board could approve the site plan, recognizing that the building inspector will determine whether it's compliant with the dimensional setback requirements.
That was because of the Dover Amendment, correct?
In part, yes. Yeah. Then the landscaping plan had mostly true native species, but it had some cultivars. And the bylaw says that the plant material should be indigenous and drought resistant. They have revised the plan to show all true native species. So at this point, I believe that they have identified and addressed the outstanding items from the last meeting, but Brian may want to say something.
Sure, you did a good job. You covered pretty much everything. The only other item that you wanted us to upload to the system was the survey, stamped and signed.
Right. Yep.
They're now uploaded as well. Yep. I don't think there's much more to say other than we have Jim Garino from DRA, who's our designer from the architecture office. And then we have Ty Johnson, who's the landscape architect, available to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, board members, do you have any questions or comments? Anybody in the general public have any questions or comments? So everything looks ready for a motion, I believe. Correct, Stephanie?
Yes.
Anybody care to be so bold?
Motion to approve the site plan at 250 Foundry Street.
Second. Do we have to include that 49.45 feet as a stipulation, or?
No, I think that's
Okay.
all. Right, Stephanie?
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah,
handled
we're
for
all
the
set.
Dover Amendment.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor, Strange, aye.
Stetson, aye.
Balsaric, aye.
That's 4, it's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Good luck.
Thanks.
All right. So next, continued public hearing, Sawmill Village. We have received a request to continue until October 13th. If someone would care to make that motion, it would be most appreciated.
Make a motion to continue 560 Foundry Street to October 13th.
Second,
All those in favor, Strange eye.
Anderson, I.
Stetson, I.
Balsaric, aye.
And we have a request from 58 Mill Street, Owl Ridge Estates, to continue to October 26th, 2020. Someone care to do that?
Make a motion to continue 58 Mill Street and 5 Owl Ridge Road to October 26th.
Second,
All those in favor, Strange eye.
Anderson, I.
Stetson, I.
Balsaric, aye.
Okay. So site plan review. So we don't really need to continue anything, Stephanie, on this. We didn't start. It was just something.
Correct,
we just gotta
right,
Move on. So they're coming
Yep.
in the next meeting. Is that what you think?
yes,
Okay. So I know. I believe the reason for the delay was the peer review engineer had just received the documents and hadn't finished. So we felt it was better to push this off to the next. meeting.
right, yep.
All right. Deer Meadow lot release.
Okay, let's see, Michael O'Shaughnessy is here. We have been in communication pretty much since the time of my return with Bob Carroll. Deer Meadow is a subdivision that was approved back in the 90s and substantially completed. The roadway was completed. There was a cul-de-sac extension. But that cul-de-sac was never completely built out. I mean, the lots weren't built out. And of course, over time, the cul-de-sac itself, the surface has deteriorated over time. And Mr. Carroll is looking to purchase those lots. He needs a lot release so that he can, and I'll let Michael explain that, but I think to know that they can move forward with the closing on the property. We have talked and Mr. Carroll has agreed to put up surety, a cash surety, to cover the cost of full reconstruction of the cul-de-sac if needed. They won't know until they pull up the two, the binder course and the top course, if the base course needs to be reconstructed, but they've agreed to put up surety for the full amount, and then we'll proceed like we normally would with road cost estimates if, based on the work that needs to be done and what work they've done.
And that's,
So-
that's Deer Meadow Lane off of Allen Road, correct?
Yes,
Right. Okay.
yes. So Michael, do you want to speak?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the Easton Planning Board. This is kind of an unusual circumstance. As Stephanie said, Deer Lane, it's now Deer Lane, was approved in the early 90s. A portion of the road was actually taken by the town, given to the town as a public way. So there's a small portion that includes the cul-de-sac that's not a public way. Mr. Carroll's looking to buy the lots. There is a covenant on record. We're seeking an approval from the board to release the 3 lots from the covenant. And in return, Bob Carroll will post a bond. There is a road cost estimate that was recently submitted for $58,000 and change. Mr. Carroll's comfortable with that. I think the town is comfortable with that. So we're just looking for the board to approve the release of the 3 lots, subject to the monies being deposited with the town.
And Stephanie, you're okay with everything on this, correct?
I am. I mean, the reason that, they would be prepared we'd have the agreement all drafted and everything. We haven't because it's just taken us a while to complete the full road, street inspection and get the report done. But the amount of the bond with the 3-year inflation rate is $58,410. So if the board sees fit to vote to approve the release of the lots contingent on receiving the surety, then yes, I think we should move forward.
Okay, and I'm just curious, Attorney O'Shaughnessy, you said something, the cul-de-sac, part of the cul-de-sac is not part of the?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Deer Meadow, it extends from the main road in the town, accepted most of it, but for the cul-de-sac, there's actually a plan of record. I don't have the actual distance, but the majority of the street is actually an accepted way.
Gotcha. And the 3 lots are the 3 that sort of encompass the cul-de-sac, I take it.
Yep.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Thank you, just for clarity. So if board members have any, is there someone that has a hand up to?
Oh,
Peter.
wait a minute.
Oh,
Oh,
Peter
that's
must- maybe
Peter.
Peter's trying to
Peter's
check in.
joined us. There we go. Peter, are you with us now?
I am now with you. I was trying to contact you, message you, but I could not get on, so thank you.
Peter, since you're tardy,
Oh,
you have to open up with a joke.
he didn't think that was funny,
I
Greg.
guess not. Jeez. Obviously not a ham. No. All right. Well, if anybody out there cares to make a motion on Deer Meadow Lane,
Motion to approve release of the lots on Deer Meadow Lane contingent on receipt of cash surety in the amount of $58,000 and change.
Welcome to Zoom. Enter your meeting ID.
Second.
followed by pound.
is there any further discussion? No. Hearing none. All those in favor? Strange eye.
That's an aye.
Balsaric, aye.
Participant ID followed by pound. Otherwise, just press pound to
Peter, you
continue.
gonna vote?
You have joined the meeting as an attendee and will be muted throughout the meeting.
Peter, can you hear us?
Is that Peter? You're a panelist now.
Peter, you want to vote?
I think he had.
Give us a thumbs up if it's a yes. Want to just put him down as abstaining so we can move on?
I don't know, I think he's
Well,
all
if he
set.
can
Peter,
hear
are
it.
you all set
Can you hear me
now?
now?
Yeah.
Did you hear the motion?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh,
I
that's
can.
much better.
Did you hear the motion? I don't know if you can hear us.
Can't hear us now.
Makes for riveting TV. Peter? So.
Greg, this is like deja vu.
Isn't it? So let's, well, we have a majority. We have 4-0. So let's just, and we can always give them an option to vote. But in either case, the motion has been approved. Attorney Stetson, do you think it's okay for me to move on?
Yes, I concur.
All right.
Thank you very much. Have a great night.
All right,
All
thanks.
right, Michael,
Thank
we will have a copy of the agreement to you probably by Wednesday.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for your help. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
You
Good
too.
night. All right, so next up, Stephanie, we have the proposed zoning amendments.
Yes.
So a vote to hold a public hearing for those. So I'll let you have the floor for anything you want to say.
Well, pretty much the plan is for a November fall town meeting. And these were the zoning articles that the board has been considering over, gosh, it's been a year, over a year, right, Greg?
Yeah, you're
When
right.
the
Judy
Furnace
would have
Village
started, yeah,
started.
wait, before you
Yep.
left. Yeah, you're right.
Yep. We didn't send out the drafts yet because it took a little bit of work figuring out what the latest versions were. And I sent it to Greg so he and I can go through it. But as soon as we agree on the final versions, we'll get that out to all the board members to look at. And we'll also post those out on the website. The versions that are out on the website were previous, I think from January. And there was a lot of work that was done by the board and with EMI, as I understand it, in early to mid-spring.
And I'll just jump in just so there's no confusion. When Stephanie says that her and I will look for, we're just make sure that we put the last version that we worked on as a board. We're not changing anything. It's just there was a
Right.
different, a different sort of format of file format it was saved in. So, and I'm the guilty party here. I haven't had a chance to look since you sent it on Friday. But I'll compare the next day or two. So I guess, so will this be at our next meeting? That will,
Yes.
assuming we vote to hold the public hearing? All right. Okay.
Yes, yep.
And we don't have a date for town meeting yet.
I think it's going to be the middle of the month.
So, right, okay. So we have, so there's the Furnace Village zoning and the map and bylaw and the map. Appendix A1, traditional zoning districts. What is that?
So looking at the documents I have, talking with Andrea and also Greg, I think with you a bit, what was happening was the Appendix A is
Oh, that's right.
the zoning district, it's the table of uses.
Right.
And with the new districts being added to it and some of the footnotes associated with the pre-existing districts, it was getting very, very cluttered. I have to say, I looked at it. So what the proposal is to break the table of uses into two tables, one that has your traditional zoning districts and all the uses that are allowed in those districts. And then you'll have A2, which will just have these new districts that are being created, including the Village Business District and the Queeset Commercial District.
Right.
And I really, in looking at it, it seems to make an awful lot of sense to do it that way.
Right. No, that's right. I remember that was the last thing that he might left off with. It had worked out well. That's right.
Yeah.
We rewrote those. And so just so that folks, I see we have a few folks.
Yeah, we do.
Participants. We won't be discussing the contents of these bylaws tonight. We're just voting to voting yes or no to hold the public hearing, to start the process, to initiate the process, to put them at the floor, put them on the warrant for town meeting. So we won't be able to entertain any questions tonight regarding.
Oh, Peter's back. Oh, we lost Peter and now he's back again. I'm sorry, Peter.
That's all right. Oh yeah, we have two. Peter, please.
Peter,
let me into the
sorry
meeting.
about that.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Wow, okay, sorry about that.
Okay.
Okay, nice to join you.
So, I guess I would, so what would we do? So do we just hold one sort of omnibus vote for all 6 of these?
You can do that. You certainly can vote to hold the public hearing on
So-
October 13th for the slate.
So before we do that, I would just ask if any board members, and then I'll ask the same of the public, but if any board members have any questions regarding the process here. Everybody's good? Okay. General public, anybody? Again, we can't talk about the specifics of the bylaws, but if anybody has questions of the process, you want to just wave
Yes, if you raise your hand, we can let you
on
talk.
the, using the Q&A function.
Oh,
Well, all
wait a
right.
minute, we do have Q&A.
No, but those are still
Oh, that's
Peter's.
Peter.
I-
Yeah,
I've been trying to get rid of them. Not Peter, the waving.
the comment.
Okay, so we seem fine. So if anybody care to make a motion on all 6 of these to hold the public hearing on the 13th, be most appreciated.
I'll make a motion to have the proposed zoning amendments and a public hearing for next meeting, October 8th, 13th.
Second it.
It's the, I'm sorry, did you say the,
It's the 13th, right?
yes, yes,
I almost said the 18th.
yeah.
I think I heard a second from Deb, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion? I don't hear any. I don't see any. So, Robert's muted for some reason. Anyways, so all those in favor of the motion, Strange, aye.
Shane, aye.
Anderson, aye.
That's an aye.
Balsaric, aye.
It is unanimous. Great. We look forward to the 13th. Thank you, Stephanie.
You're welcome.
Next up, we have the meeting minutes. And I know they were out there. Did
Yep.
anybody have any edits or comments, questions? And I'll just trust you guys to chime in with a motion whenever you're comfortable.
Make a motion to approve minutes as presented.
Second.
Can I have a second? Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Strange eye.
DeShane, aye.
Balsaric, aye.
Anderson, I.
Stetson will abstain because I wasn't here.
Oh, that's right. I wasn't here either, but I don't need, that's okay. I already said aye. What the heck? I trust you guys. All right. Chair's report. Nothing really, nothing new since last time. I can't think of anything to report on other than my earplugs keep falling out. We will, I guess I just say, looking at the zoning, I think we were in pretty good shape. The one thing I couldn't remember, Chris and I were talking about this at the beginning of the meeting, in reference to the village business district for the mixed use. I'm trying to remember at one point we had a really large number in there in terms of density, and we knew we needed to make it smaller. It was sort of a placeholder. I couldn't remember whether we did or not, so that's probably the main thing we have to look at. But anyways, we'll get those out to you.
After the meeting, Greg, I'll check that out and I'll just let you all know.
Yeah, okay.
So you're gonna send us all those documents over the next week or so?
Yeah, I was saying, absolutely, Greg,
Yeah.
and we just need to, I wanted Greg to take a look at it to make sure that the versions I think are the latest are the last drafts that you folks worked on.
Yeah,
So
so
I
Stephanie and
want to make sure I'm sending out the right thing.
I hate the delay on this. Sorry about that. Stephanie and I we meet virtually literally and virtually every Wednesday. So we'll go over that this week. I'll do my homework ahead of time, and yeah, so I'm sure she'll get those out to you this week. So anybody out there have anything?
Well, I apologize, I was late for the meeting. We had an alarm malfunction, then obviously a Zoom problem there for a few minutes, but I did my best to make it here.
It's okay. You look very impressive in the boardroom. We're glad. I like the unique shot.
Well,
Most creative.
what happened to did you already review the school?
Yep.
Oh yeah, we denied it.
I missed all that?
The kids have too much.
I could see the plan. I thought the TV would work better, but.
No, that's continued to our next meeting.
Oh, okay.
The peer review is still underway, so we felt it was best to wait
right.
till we heard back from Woodward and Curran. It's Woodward and Curran, right, Stephanie?
Woodard, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's everything. So who would like to bring us home?
Just before you do that, Greg, I do want to just remind everyone, I know I did it when I sent out the agenda for this meeting, but next on the October 13th meeting, several bigger projects. So quorum is especially with the zoning and Sawmill and starting the school off. So if for any reason you don't think you're going to be able to make it, please let us know.
You mean we won't have to say continued anymore? That's good. All right. Oh, yeah.
What do your t-shirt say?
Well, great. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. And who wants to make a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Strange eye.
Jane,
Anderson, I.
That's an aye.
Balsaric, aye.
Thank you, ECAT. Thank you, Easton. Thank you, board
Thank
members.
you.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.